Are you thinking of moving to Egypt? Before doing so and start packing your bags, here are 5 things that I wish I knew before making the leap of faith myself with my family almost a year ago now. The first is the idea of just being able to adapt quickly and just acclimatize. The first 30 days, the first month of us being here, I probably had a headache nearly every single day. And I kind of identify that being due to the difference in the air quality. That for me is the biggest difference that I found moving from the UK. The UK generally, especially in Manchester, the air quality is quite good. So if you're looking to do anything important, or if you're building a business, have an online job, make sure you don't have a lot of very important meetings the first month that you move. The first month should be about you just acclimatizing easily, making sure that you're able to just absorb the environment around you and set yourself up for success. So I would definitely, if I could go back in time, add a humidifier to make sure the air quality is better in my bedroom. I'd just prepare a bit more when it comes to my own nutrition, when it comes to drinking more water and replacing those electrolytes that are pretty important. And just be prepared for the adaptation curve that you're gonna have to go on the first month that you move. Bear that in mind, it's something that will prevent you from having headaches. Even my younger brother who recently moved went through the same thing, so it's definitely a thing when you're moving from the West. The second is the idea of the electricity, the Wi-Fi. So when we were here last year, during the summer, nearly every day, the Wi-Fi, because of the electricity, would go down, the electricity would go out. And that would mean that anytime I had an important meeting, I'd be just about to join and literally the worst would happen. And you're not able to do the things that are important to you or just sit under aircon, and that can be incredibly frustrating. You are living in Egypt, so just bear in mind that there's going to be a lot of things that are going to happen that are going to be out of your control, especially when it comes to just preparing for the worst. Think about your Wi-Fi, think about the electricity, always have a backup plan, in particular in the summer, and make sure that if you're doing anything important, you've considered different scenarios, because the last thing that you want is not to be able to attend an important meeting and lose an important deal. It's not really ideal for what you're looking for when it comes to the move. The third thing is just be appreciative that this is Egypt and not the Gulf. What do I mean by that? When I was recently in Dubai, so I went for some business, maybe about 3 weeks ago, nearly a month ago now, one of the biggest differences that I noticed is the pace of life. So when it comes to Dubai, everyone's kind of tailoring their day, centering what they are doing based around the activity of making money. It's just ingrained in the culture. Whilst when it comes to Egypt, the biggest difference that you'll notice is the pace and the balance that you also get because of that. So if you're someone that likes a fast-paced environment, just be prepared for the idea of not finding that, especially in the new side of Cairo. You're going to have more time and you're going to see more slowness, which I think is really good for the mind and really healthy. But if you're looking for that acceleration, that growth, that idea of seeing things compound when it comes to pace, this probably isn't the environment for you. But if you're someone that's looking for more purpose, more presence, then I think it is. The fourth is the weather. You'll be massively surprised that winter here is actually very cold, like surprisingly cold. My parents joined us in January and early February, and my dad was like, what am I doing here? It's practically as cold as the UK is. I'm not saying the days are as cold, but the nights definitely feel that way. The insulation is different, so you'll be utilizing your heaters a lot more. You'll be bringing out your best winter gear, and you'll be really questioning where you are. So be prepared for really chilly winter nights, extra heaters, extra blankets. Just if you're having guests over, I'd really recommend, especially if they're your parents and important people, that you encourage them to come in the spring or autumn, because the summer can get quite hot. But just be prepared for the winters. They're a lot harsher than you think, and it can be very surprising, and that can almost have a negative impact if you're trying to make Egypt have a good impression on your loved ones. The last and final thing is visa. It's the thing that you're going to need probably first before you move to the country, especially if you're thinking of doing hijrah. But one of the things that no one told me till literally maybe a few months ago is that I would solely live in New Cairo as an expat just because the visa process is easier in the new side of things. So New Cairo has its separate visa immigration department that no one told me of, and that just makes something when it comes to paperwork, which is generally quite taxing here, so much easier. Most people have to go to an area called Abbasiyah. And for those of you that know, or those of you that are going to find out, Abbasiyah can be very challenging to navigate. Even if you only have to do it once every 6 months, it's like you're living 5 months of life in peace, just so that you can make that 1 month, that one day count and have the mind space to be able to navigate it with some sense and some calmness. It's a really taxing process. It's generally quite hot. No one really tells you what to do, and it can really put a downer on your month or your week if you know you've got to go to Abbasiyah. In the new side, especially if you've got a signed contract, in fact, only if you've got a signed contract from your landlord, you're able to go through that process of getting a visa without the headache. And just that ability to be able to have a very calm experience of doing something that's necessary allows you to really make the transition easier. So if you're thinking about where to stay, especially when it comes to the idea of needing to get a visa, pick the new side because it makes life a lot easier. There are 5 things that I wish I knew before making the journey to Egypt. Hopefully you found them useful. If you found any of those 5 elements useful, let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. And also if you've got any more questions that hopefully I can answer. I'll catch you in the next one.